Good evening, Grand Rapids, and thank you for joining us at Comedy Outlet Mondays. I am your anchor, Sean Francis, bringing you the local, national, and world news that you may have missed because you just unrolled your eyes from watching CPAC highlights. So, Grand Rapids, you're welcome. Newsflash! Our top story tonight. Texas Governor Greg Abbott gave a press conference last week about his state just barely survived a massive snowstorm that would have inconvenienced any other state, no pointing fingers, to commemorate making it through the ice that they don't like. He said, COVID, we can survive anything, and lifted the mandatory mask mandate. Abbott said that the state is now good to open 100%, with an asterisk, of course, because, it's never 100%. Close the borders. After much debate, and the Senate has finally passed a $1.9 trillion relief bill, which includes, of course, another round of stimulus checks for most Americans, which will mean that all that's standing in the way between you and that $1,400 is another vote from the House and approval from President Biden, and a midnight ceremony and goat sacrifice from the Supreme Court, and a round of American Idol auditions, and we got to shoot the bill into space so that the International Space Station can proofread it, and then we're going to put it under McConnell, Schumer, and Pelosi's pillows to see if the bill fairy can come and turn it into a real law. Almost there, you guys. Hey, today's International Women's Day, everybody. Definitely want to shout out to all the great women that help Newsflash and and the Comedy Project run, now and in the past. So Erin Becca Pope, Kristen Hurst, Amy Gaskin, Stevie Sahutsky, and everyone else who has graced our stage and our writer's room. Thank you for being a part and what makes our community so great. So big hand for them. And of course, any chance to celebrate women's achievement, raise awareness against bias, and take action for equality is going to be a good thing, right? So in line with that spirit, the Biden administration is getting ready to sign into order some moves to help protect and fight against such inequalities. Specifically, an executive order formally establishing the White House Gender Policy Council, which is something that Old 45 disbanded. The office specifically focused on women's issues created during the Obama administration, and at some point was called the White House Council of Women and Girls. And so with a name like that, it's no wonder that it terrified him so much. One Biden administration official said that the new name, Gender Policy Council, is going to acknowledge inequalities affecting people of all genders, combating sexual harassment, addressing structural barriers to women's participation in the workforce, decreasing gender wage and wealth gaps, addressing caregiving issues that have disproportionately impacted women and responding to gender-based violence. So it's a good start commemorating International Women's Day, but I did notice there's still no word if the administration has made a corresponding Spotify playlist. So your move, Biden. There's 3 Lizzo songs on there, so call me. And last night, CBS aired the much-anticipated Oprah Winfrey interview with former Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, which revealed some bombshell revelations, mistreatment that both of them received from the royal family, much of it having to do with Markle's status, background, and race. Most damning of all is a story of Queen Elizabeth asking Markle to help set up her printer, thanks to her status as an elder millennials. Upon revealing to Winfrey she was denied assistance with mental health from pressure from the press and within the royal family itself, she was denied that healthcare access by a senior member of the palace, saying that it would reflect poorly on the royal family. We have a quote from that very British member of the royal palace saying, it's not just on brand, you know, we're really more of a toil and repression kind of monarchy. I mean, I'm absolutely furious right now, and you couldn't tell. So that's, you know, how they do it over there. With COVID-19 vaccines continuing to become more available and accessible, there is still information being released for how effective they are against the various strains of COVID. Researchers recently discovered a new strain that will simply ghost you and not call you back. So, you know, it's getting a little better, you guys. The state just announced that adults aged 50 and up are now considered eligible for the vaccines, so that is going to be a good thing, but it also creates an unfortunate cultural landmine for healthcare workers who now have to navigate distinguishing who's actually in their 50s and who's not quite ready to admit that they don't get carded at the bar anymore. Right, and now Friday marked the season finale of the beloved and series WandaVision from Marvel Studios, and I'm sure all of us have questions. So here to help us out is Newsflash's newest comic correspondent, Noah King Bates. Through the power of Zoom, we will now communicate.
Your token nerd here.
There he is.
Give you all the lowdown on WandaVision.
Hey, thanks, Noah. So, just saying, in case there's anyone out there who's not familiar, could be any of us, really, I'm not going to point fingers, but what is WandaVision? In your words.
Oh, well, I'm so glad you asked. First, time out. When a superpowered goddess with PTSD love the British theory, they decide to live together in harmony. That is, until Josh Brolin's attacked. Now, stricken with grief, the other Olsen, yes, there's a third one, and she is way more popular than Michelle Tanner. Takes her toaster husband to the middle of nowhere, and creepy stuff happens in nowhere, and it's up to a cast of B-class heroes to save the new world. Now, if you see what I did there, you notice that I mixed a couple of TV shows together to give you a spoiler-free synopsis. It's very much of what WandaVision is. It's a travel through TV's history for historical accuracies and inaccuracies. Like the first accuracy, they air an episode every week. And trust me, most of us hated that. Also, they have these weird things in the middle of the show called commercials. I don't know, it was weird. And if historical accuracy isn't your thing, you're more of a plot-driven person, well, let me just tell you, the plot is thick.
Oh, wow. It's International Women's Day.
And for people who are on the other side, we also have...
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for all my technophiles out there, we have...
Hey, there, we can all agree on that.
Yeah, they got it all.
Wow. So yeah, definitely get the appeal, Noah. But what if there are viewers who like the show and they want to learn more about these characters? Maybe they aren't already familiar with the Marvel universe. They want to read more stories about Wanda and Vision.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. If you want to learn more about it, all you have to do is open up these magical things. They're called books.
What?
Luckily, with comic books, they're a little bit different. They have pictures on the inside, so it's really easy to follow. Now, for me, with WandaVision, there are two iconic stories that you need to look at. House of M, which deals with Wanda dealing with loss and grief, as well as the West Coast Avengers, which deals with Wanda and holy matrimony with her weird appliance husband.
Gotcha. All right, that sounds steamy for sure. Now, finally, if I'm not already sold on everything else you told me, why should I take the time to watch WandaVision, in your opinion? You got a bit of a lag.
Okay, you know what? You're right. I'm gonna be real with you. 2020 was about as dog shit as Joss Whedon's Justice League. And a lot of people have faced loss after loss after loss, just like the characters in WandaVision. It isn't just a comic book show. Yes, there are comic book characters, and yeah, there's a comic book storyline, and yeah, sure, there's comic book thing. Okay, you know what? Fine. It is a comic book show. But it's not your typical Avengers, big action, or your CW, pow, pow, quick, quick type thing. No, this show teaches you about grief, loss, love, acceptance, all of those things. It's honestly what we need. It's cathartic. And hey, if you love that pow, pow, quick, quick, buddy cop thing, don't worry. Marvel is coming out with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is just around the corner.
All right, fair enough. All right, well, thanks, Noah King Bates, everybody.
Yes. Mr. Comics, you're a token nerd. Nerd only.
That's right. Only tokenizing his nerdom. That's right. So, everybody, in more robot news, Venus Bronze Works in Detroit is putting the finishing touches on an 11-foot tall RoboCop statue that has taken 11 years to complete. For reference, they started in 2010. Justin Bieber's hit song Baby's topping the charts. Angry Bird is the hottest game on the planet. And RoboCop is already an outdated reference. NASA's rover on Mars, Perseverance, made its first ever drive on the red planet this past week, and it served as a mobility test that marks just one of many milestones ahead for the team. The drive along the Martian landscape took about 33 minutes, and it spanned 21.3 feet. To put that into some perspective, that's about the same pace as trying to go down Bridge Street on rush hour. So. A suspected drunk driver and his passenger were found near the scene of a two-vehicle collision off of M115 in Cadillac. When police arrived, the men had attempted to hide in some bushes fairly close to the accident. Unfortunately for them, they chose Bush Light. Tonight in Com News, we welcome back some old faves and say hello to some new faves. We've got Stand Up Without a Plan, featuring the host Carl Sobel, who will be surprising a group of his comedian friends with secret topics, and they'll have to come up with some jokes on the fly. So tonight's comedians, we've got Kate Carmody, Abby Lemke, and Hunter Miles. So yeah. We also have some improv from our returning favorite pair, a duo of dudes who don't share blood. It's like father, like son. Yeah! We'd like to thank our writers for Newsflash this week, so round of applause for them. And if you would like to see your name up on that screen, you can just submit your own Newsflash tips to comedyoutletmondays@gmail.com with the subject Newsflash tips. Hey, and maybe you'll see your name up there. So, follow Comedy Outlet Mondays on Facebook, get notified for future shows, find our submission form for putting your act on stage, and other ways to get involved. And now